Good morning children and welcome back. This is class 6th, subject Social Science, chapter number 6 of Geography. We are going to start today and the name of the chapter is Major Landforms of the Earth. If you remember, in chapter number 5 of Geography, we have covered the major domains of the Earth, the major parts of the Earth, in which we covered lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere and biosphere. Lithosphere, if we talk about, that was the solid portion of the Earth surface or that covers the land area. So here we are going to do the different landforms found on the Earth. And it's going to be our lecture number 1. The topics that we are going to cover in today's lecture are internal and external processes. Inside the earth or on the earth surface, there are different forces that are going on or different forces that take place. So due to these processes, the different landforms they are formed on the earth. Number 2, mountains. In this particular chapter, we are going to take the 3 major landforms, and mountains, that is one of the landform that we are going to take. And types of mountains: number 1, fold mountain, number 2, block mountain, number 3, volcanic mountain. So the mountains part we are going to cover in today's lecture. At last we'll take homework that will be on the basis of topic covered in today's lecture. So let's start. Firstly, the introduction of the chapter. The surface of the earth is not same everywhere, but somewhere it is rugged and somewhere it is even. Rugged means not even. If you might have seen the earth's surface or the land, you can easily say that it is not equal everywhere, it is not even everywhere. Somewhere you can see hills there on the earth, somewhere you see mountains, somewhere river basins are there, valleys are there, plains are there, plateaus are there. So for example, hills, mountain, plains and plateaus etc. they are found on the earth surface. So we can say that the earth is not even everywhere. Somewhere it is really very high, somewhere high and somewhere it is even. So how it happened? What are the reasons for that? The landforms are a result of 2 processes, internal process and external process of the earth. As I told you, the different forces they take place inside the earth and outside the earth. So due to those forces, the different landforms they are formed. So let's discuss about these 2 internal and external processes first of all. First is internal process. By the name we can identify internal, that is happening inside the earth. So what is this internal process and how it takes place? The ground upon which we are standing is not still. There are continuous movements inside the earth. These movements are very slow that we cannot feel them. The movements of the earth that take place inside the earth's surface and causes changes in the earth's crust is known as internal process of the earth. It leads to the upliftment and sinking of the earth's surface at several places. Means the happening or the forces that take place inside the earth, due to which the different landforms they are formed on the crust of the earth or on the surface of the earth, that leads to upliftment, means the rise of the land. Sinking down means that is sinking of the earth surface. So due to this process, on different places this upliftment and sinking of the earth surface is happening. We can take example of earthquake or volcanic eruption. Earthquake, that we know that is the result of some forces that take place inside the earth, and due to which the different changes they occur there on the surface of the earth. In the same way, volcanic eruption, due to volcanic eruption, the lava that comes up on the earth surface, and after some times when it cools down, it takes the shape of sometimes the mountain even, that we will be discussing in volcanic mountain. Clear? So this is the internal process. The next one is external process. By the name here we can identify external, which is going on outside, means on the surface of the earth. The continuous wearing down of the and rebuilding of the earth surface is the result of external process. The earth surface, when it is cutting down or rebuilding due to some of the things like wind, wind, water, the glaciers, these are some of the mediums by which the upper part or the earth surface that is cutting down and it is rebuilding the earth surface. The sources of this wearing down or rebuilding of the earth surface are water, wind and glacier. What is this wearing down and what is it called? Wearing down means cutting down. So cutting down of the earth's surface is called erosion. Clear? So the process in which the earth's surface that is cutting down or wearing down, that is known as erosion. And how it happened? Due to water, wind and glacier. Because when water that is in the flow, it is cutting down the upper part of the earth surface, and when the flow is slow, then it is depositing that material. So what is that deposition? See the answer of that also. Rebuilding of the earth surface is called deposition. When the complete material that is the erosion is done of the complete thing, sand or the silt with it, and when it is the flow is very slow, then the complete material that has been taken by wind or the water, they deposit that, and that is the rebuilding of the earth surface. Clear? Erosion and deposition. So the due to this external process, these erosion and deposition they take place. Due to these internal and external processes, different landforms are formed on the earth surface. So let's discuss about the landforms now. The first one, mountains. Second is plateau, and third is plains, that we are going to cover in this particular lecture. Otherwise valleys are there, the different capes are there, basins are there, but major landforms that we are going to cover are mountains, plateaus and plains. So let's start with the mountains. Mountains are huge masses of land that rise to great heights of more than 900 meters in comparison to their surrounding area. They have steep slope, they have a small summit and broad base. You might have seen the shape of the mountain and you have observed that the base of the mountain is broad and the top is small. So they have small summit and broad base. And if we talk about the height, the more than 900 meters of the height the mountains have. They have very steep slope. We can see that in the mountains. The mountain's top is known as a peak. The top of the mountain is known as peak. When mountains are arranged in a line, it is called mountain range. Clear? When the mountain they are in a line, or different mountains all together they are in a line, that is known as mountain range. Like Himalaya, we can say Himalayan range. Alps mountains are there, so we can say the range when they are arranged in a line. In some mountains there are permanently frozen rivers of ice. They are called glaciers. So what is glacier? The permanent frozen rivers of the ice are known as glaciers. You might have seen that some of the mountains which are very high, the top part of those mountains remains covered with the snow all the time. Clear? So from that snow, obviously that frozen rivers, that as we are talking about permanently frozen rivers of ice, they are called glaciers. And if you talk about the height of the mountain in the world, the highest mountain peak in the world, that is Mount Everest, with the height of 8,848 meters. If you talk about the second one, it is K2 with the height of 8,611 meters. Clear? So there are different mountain peaks which are more than 8,000 meters high. Okay, so this is the highest mountain peak, the Mount Everest, that is in Himalayan range. Now, types of mountains. There are three types of mountain. Number 1, fold mountain. Number 2, block mountain. Number 3, volcanic mountain. So now we'll discuss about all these three mountains. Number 1, fold mountains, and along with its one of the diagram also. These mountains are formed when Earth's surface is to be pushed up from opposite directions to form folds. For example, the Himalayan mountains. Here in the picture also you can see that from two opposite directions the landform that is pushed, or you can say the forces are coming from two directions, and due to those forces the land in between that is going up, or that is getting fold. Clear? So in this way these fold mountains are formed. You can do one activity on your own also. Take a page or a sheet and push the opposite directions of the sheet. You will see the fold in the sheet. So in this way these fold mountains are formed, and the example of fold mountains are Himalayan mountains, Alps mountain, that we'll discuss. Okay, so Alps, Himalayan, these are the mountains, these are the examples of the fold mountain. Next is the Himalayan and the Alps mountain are the examples of new fold mountains, and the Aravalli and Appalachian and Ural mountains are the examples of old fold mountains. If we talk about the fold mountains, we can take any of the example, and here two types are taken: old fold mountain and new fold mountain. That is according to the time period they were built, or they were formed, like Aravalli and Appalachian, Ural. These all are the old fold mountains. Aravalli is there in India itself, okay. Appalachian, that is in North America, and Ural mountain, that is there in Russia. Clear? So this is all about the fold mountain, how it is formed. Next is the block mountains. How these block mountains they are formed? These mountains are formed when large areas are broken and displaced vertically. Uplifted block is known as host and lowered block is known as graben. Like in the picture also you can see the different blocks are given. When a large area of the earth surface that is broken and shifted to the another place in blocks, that is known as block mountain, and in those blocks the uplifted part is known as host and the lowered block, that is known as graben. Rhine Valley and Vosges mountain are the examples of block mountains. There in the fold mountains, as we have done different examples like Himalayas, Alps, Andes, Aravalli, Appalachian. Here Rhine Valley and Vosges mountains, they are the examples of the block mountain, and these Rhine and Vosges mountain are found in Europe, or they are located there in Europe. Now the third is volcanic mountain. By the name we can identify the mountains which are formed due to the volcanic activities are known as volcanic mountains. Clear? The mountains those are formed by volcanic activities are called volcanic mountains. When lava that comes from the inside of the earth on the earth's surface, after some time that gets cool and that takes the shape of a mountain. In this way the volcanic mountains are formed. So we, in simple words, we can say the mountains those are formed by volcanic activities are known as volcanic mountains. By the diagram you can see it. For example, Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa and Mount Fujiyama in Japan. These are the examples of volcanic mountains. Means Kilimanjaro and Fujiyama, these mountains are formed due to the volcanic activities. Now look at this diagram. Here we have taken the important mountain ranges of the world. You can see there in Russia Himalaya, in Asia Himalaya, there the Indian map you can see there, and just north to it is Himalaya. Then in Europe you can see Alps mountains, in Russia you can see Ural mountains, then Atlas there in Africa, then Rockies mountain in North America, and these mountains they are in South America, Appalachian again in North America. So these are the different important mountain ranges of the world. Now, importance of mountains, or you can say how the mountains are useful to men, or how the mountains are useful to us. Number one, they are storehouse of water. As I told you that the top of the mountains, the high mountains, they are covered with snow all the time, and when the temperature gets high, so definitely that snow that melts down and converted into the water. So we can say the great source of water or the source house of the water they are. Number two, water is used in generation of hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity, the electricity that is produced by the water. So water is used in generation of hydroelectricity, that's why they are important or useful for man. River valleys are ideal for agriculture. Valleys means the lower land in between the mountains or the hills. There the agriculture can be done. As water is available there, so irrigation is done there with that water, so agriculture that is done perfectly there with the help of water also. So this is good for agriculture even. Mountains have rich variety of flora and fauna. Flora and fauna means vegetation and animal. So different type of animals or vegetation that is also found there in the mountains. As forested area they are having, and in forested area definitely fodder, shelter or different products like resin there in the mountains, different things, gum, resins that the people can collect. Clear? So mountains have rich variety of flora and fauna also. They provide beautiful sights for tourists. Obviously the people, especially in summer, they want to go to visit the hill stations. Clear? So they provide the beautiful sites for tourists also. Number 6, they are important sites for several special sports like paragliding, skiing, hang gliding, etc. These type of sports they can be played there on the heights of the mountain. So they are the important sites for these games or these sports also. Clear? So here we can say that mountains are useful to man in these following ways. Next is mountains are thinly populated, means less number of people are living in mountains than plains. Clear? What are the reasons for that? Number 1, less land is available for farming. As the land is not even, not equal everywhere, so that's why we can say that less land is available there for farming. If farming is less, the work is less somewhere, definitely the people, number of people, they will be less one. Number 2, harsh climate on the mountains. You know that on the mountains the temperature that remains very cold. So the harsh climate it is there on the mountains, that's why also the less population is there. Number 3, very few employment opportunities. As the land that is not even everywhere because of the mountains, so it is very difficult for companies to set up there. It is very difficult for the transport also. That's why the employment opportunities they are also less, and due to that definitely if work is less, the less number of people they are living there. Less developed means of transport, as I told you, due to the uneven land, the less means of transport they are developed there in the mountains. So we can say that mountains are thinly populated due to these reasons. So this is all about the mountains we have covered in our today's lecture. Clear? So I hope that this first part, mountains, you have understood. Now it's time for homework. Do the following questions. Number 1, what are the different types of mountains? Here all three you will explain. Number 2, how are mountains useful to us? There you will write how they are important or how they are useful to men. Number 3, why are mountains thinly populated? And number 4, it is define erosion and deposition. So this is the homework for you. You will do all these questions in your fair register. I hope that you have understood all the things covered in today's lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.